What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. It is still Victory Monday. We are still here appreciating the big win yesterday. And we've got plenty to talk about with regard to where this team is going, where this team is headed. So we're going to do what we almost always do the day after any game first. We're going to go ahead and talk about the snap counts. We're going to talk about who got on the field and how much they got on the field and what, if anything, we can take away from what we are seeing right now in terms of playtime. So you guys know the drill by now. We go through the snap counts of relevant players on offense, and then we do the same thing for the defense. And we just kind of try to gauge where the team is doing things properly and maybe some areas where the team needs to get a little bit better. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up button down below. Subscribe if you're new. Click the bell for notifications. Become a channel member for $2 a month. Those are the best ways to help support the channel. Let's jump in with the running backs here. Well, first, let's start with the offense just as a whole. 60 offensive snaps by the Seahawks. 60. So that's not a very high number. That's a decent amount below the season average at this point. They were averaging, or they are currently averaging about 68 plays a game. So 60 is a little lower than you would want it, but it's not necessarily a critical thing, right? We've had games that are about 60 offensive snaps. We've had a couple games where it was lower. So 60 offensive snaps, let's remember that number for later. And 678 total snaps offensively this season. So running back about what you would expect at this point. Ken Walker, 44 snaps, and Charbonnet gets 19. So we get a couple snaps where they're both on the field, and for the most part, you can see that Walker's really seized control of this. And he has to, right? Walker is the only running back on this team that has shown a consistent ability to get things going and do things without good run blocking, and he doesn't have good run blocking, and this team will not have good run blocking this year in all likelihood. So a guy like Charbonnet, people are beating up on him right now, and I get a little bit of it, but realistically, Charbonnet's not the kind of player that you can give the ball to with behind a bad offensive line and expect good things to happen. He just doesn't have that skill set. Walker does, so we got to go with it. Charbonnet still has some things that he can do to help this team win, but for now, this is the best that we can do. So 44-19, that's probably going to be where we need to be the rest of the season, just so we have a chance, because Walker is that dynamic of a threat and that able to produce without great blocking in front of him. Wide receivers, we kept it real simple this week. DK Metcalf played about 90% of the snaps. Lockett played a little less than 80% of the snaps. And JSN somewhere in the middle of those two. So like 85 approximately. And that's almost it, right? Like I guess the thing that stands out there would be the fact that Metcalf, after missing a couple games for injury, came back and basically played his full allotment of snaps. He effectively played as many snaps as he usually plays in a typical NFL game. And he played well. He played a good game. And JSN also played actually a really good game, I think. And if he keeps this riding for the next few games here, I think it's going to really put a lot of people's minds at ease about the future of this receiver room, because I was worried about it, right? I was worried about it a few weeks ago, but a couple more weeks of JSN playing like this, and it's going to be time to calm down for sure, because the future looks so bright after all. Where just a few weeks ago, I was really wondering about JSN. I didn't know what he was. I didn't know what we were looking at. And last couple of weeks, he's locked in. Ever since he let that interception bounce off his hands, he's locked in. What else can you say? Well, like I said, though, that's it. Bobo plays 6 snaps, basically doesn't play 10% of the game. Cody White gets 4 snaps, and Shenault gets 1. Now, Shenault got hurt. Maybe he would have played more if he didn't get hurt. But nobody else played at receiver. That's basically nothing. That's 11 snaps of a non-top 3 receiver. So we're going down with our guys, which I think is the right thing to do. Obviously, if they're healthy, Metcalf and JSN have to stay on the field as much as possible. And I think that while Lockett is here, we need to get what we can out of him. And sometimes you're going to get a game like yesterday where Lockett didn't really do anything, but he's going to produce often enough to be a valuable asset to your team. He's going to have enough good games to continue to be a positive influence on this team. Is he worth the money he's making this year? Maybe not, but he can help you win, and that's the only thing that matters at this point. He's getting that money regardless. So we can't even think about that right now. And guys like Bobo and to a certain extent Chenault have proven there's just not that much they can do to help. Tight end was pretty simple this week because no Noah Fant. We had 51 snaps of AJ Barner, so he played almost the whole game. About 85% of it. Played a kind of an inconsistent game to my eye. Not a lot of production, some bad blocking, but also some good stuff. Pharaoh Brown gets 22 and Mabry gets 1, and that's it. So not much to say there, other than this is what it takes for Pharaoh Brown to get significant playing time, I guess. I did notice, and we'll talk about this probably a little bit later, Charles Cross did not have one of his better days, so we probably felt obligated to put multiple tight ends on the field at least some of the time. But you can see that Pharaoh Brown just isn't playing enough to justify us having him on this team, and it's frustrating. It's little signings like that that add up that really come back and bite you. Like, Pharaoh Brown is a guy we did give $3 million to, and the fact that he's not making any kind of meaningful impact on this team, it feels like, is annoying. In some ways, it's just as annoying as a guy like Draymond Jones making the money he's making. At least Draymond Jones is out there and he occasionally does make a play. Pharaoh Brown doesn't feel like he gives you anything. And the offensive line, going to be mostly simple this week. Charles Cross, Laken Tomlinson, Oluwatimi, and Bradford all played the whole game. Abe Lucas played 42 snaps, so he did play most of the game. You're talking about, 70%. Mike Gerald played 30% of the game, 18 snaps. And then Jalen Sundle got out there in a jumbo package for 1 snap, and that's it. Not much to say. Obviously, Lucas was getting rotated out because he's probably not equipped to play a full game from start to finish right now. But you do see he played about 70%. So you would hope that by next week it's more like 90%, if not the whole load. So encouraging, I guess. We're headed in the right direction here. And you saw, I think, that things were better with him out there. They were. Okay, that's it for the offense. Now we're going to go jump on over to the defense here. And the first thing, total snaps 63. So 60 snaps is not a lot for this offense, but 63 snaps is also not a lot for the defense. So it was a relatively low snap game, and you can see that we have now achieved basically equilibrium. We are 1 snap away from having exactly the same number of snaps on offense and defense. So overall, this is not bad. There have been games where it's bad, but overall, 677 snaps on defense compared to 678 on offense is pretty good, right? And 63 snaps in a game is also not quite the season low, but it's one of the lower numbers so far this year. We had fewer defensive snaps against the Dolphins and actually the Lions, although that game was very different than most games where you don't have a lot of snaps. I don't know if I would call that a good thing. So we were able to actually keep a pretty tight hold on our defensive line rotations, and you can see that in the numbers here. Nobody's really playing an excessive number of snaps. Leonard Williams leads the pack by far, and he doesn't even get to 50. He's at 49. Excuse me. Jaron Reed at 36. And people are beating up on Jaron Reed a little bit today, but I don't think it's totally warranted. We're getting our money's worth out of Jaron Reed overall, I think. And he's out there grinding, playing probably more snaps than we wish he was. 427 snaps. He's on pace to average about 43 snaps a game. That's probably a little more than we would like him to play, but we have to because we're not seeing the development of guys like Mike Morris, and guys like Murphy and Williams have been missing games. By the way, Murphy 32 snaps, so basically half. Not a huge fan of the way we're using him still. We're playing him at nose tackle. I don't like it. But we kind of have to right now to get him on the field, I guess, and I can get it. but got a pretty tight hold of that. And then you've got 19 snaps for Roy Robertson Harris, and then 17 snaps for Jonathan Hankins. And those are just kind of the guys we're leaning on right now, so we don't have to play these guys every snap, and they're doing their job. They're not great. They're in fact, Jonathan Hankins probably isn't even good, but we need what we can from these guys right now. We need to ride these guys right now. Let's see here. Linebacker, pretty simple this week. Ernest Jones plays every snap, all 63. Great game. And Tyrese Knight plays most of the game, 51 snaps. Drake Thomas did get out there for 2 plays. I don't remember seeing him, but he was out there for 2 plays. So, pretty standard. It is notable that with Knight now part of the starting rotation, we decided to go to more, I guess you would call it, one linebacker looks, which we were seeing very little of previously. But pretty standard stuff, I would say. And, I mean, it worked, right? Both those guys played well. Knight played a good game, and Jones, I thought, played a great game. Although, we'll see if everybody agrees with that down the line here. I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be at least one website that does not agree with that assessment at all. So, this stuff is reasonable. It's really frustrating we can't get more out of Mike Morris, but it is what it is. And this is pretty reasonable, too. We are kind of starting to push it a little bit at the edge rusher position. You can see that we've got a little bit of an issue here, where right now we only have 3 guys playing edge. And I'm sure, and I haven't looked, but I'm sure that a guy like Leonard Williams and even a Byron Murphy occasionally lines up out over the tackle or outside the tackle. But overall, you don't want just 3 edge rushers playing for you. But Mafe with 44 is number 1. Derek Hall with 34, and then Draymond Jones with 33. And nobody else is playing at all. Gibson, obviously, we had to put the kibosh on that. Bowser hasn't been on this team for a while. We need Nwosu back just because I don't think this is sustainable. I don't think it's sustainable to only have 3 edge rushers who are rotating in and out. Even if the 4th guy isn't great, you need something. And I don't know if I want to continue to see us do some of the things we do with the defensive linemen playing edge on occasion. I want Nwosu back very quickly, so I'm hoping he gets back soon. This, to me, is a concern. We're not getting anything out of any depth players. Cornerback. Witherspoon played every snap. Woolen played every snap except for 2. And Josh Joby played a little more than half the game. And I don't know what happened to Trey Brown. I don't know if he just disappeared. I feel like I don't hear his name anymore. He doesn't play. I don't know what's going on with Trey Brown, but it seems like the team has kind of moved on. I know some people were saying, oh, he's still hurt. But it really feels like they like what they see with Joby and they want to ride with it, which, I mean, you can't say he's playing poorly right now. So I don't mind riding it until the wheels start to fall off. But at the same time, I'm really surprised this went this way with Trey Brown. He's in a contract year. He's trying to make some money here. Hard to make money when you're on the bench. Safety, very simple. Julian Love plays every snap. Kobe Bryant plays every snap. And then we actually got a good number of snaps from the depth. Ty Okada, 25 snaps. Now, I don't think he played particularly well or anything like that. I'm not sitting here acting like, oh, he played a really good game for the Seahawks, but he did play a lot. Jarek Reed gets his first defensive snaps of the year. He gets 5 of them. Pretty interesting stuff there. You can see how much we like to lean on the safety-heavy packages. Obviously, these guys aren't lining up at safety on every snap, but it is interesting to see how the team is doing this. Instead of playing a lot of cornerbacks, they're playing a lot of safeties. And I know Kobe Bryant isn't a pure safety, but he mostly plays safety for us the way we're using him right now. All right, that's it for Snap Count Monday. Let me know what you guys think. More videos coming soon. But that is how snap counts broke down yesterday. Give me your thoughts. I will see you guys later today. Go Hawks.